Hey beautifuls, I love this deck so much. I put it on my story yesterday and I'm going to pull a card for you guys now. It's just going to be an overall message and seeing what comes through for us all, because we have our total solar eclipse probably just over 24 hours from now. So there's some pretty big intense-ish energy going on right now, right? Some intensive, oh my goodness, some intense energy. I was trying to do like a clever word, but that didn't work. So yeah, intense energy, lots of shifting, huge recalibration for so many people. Yeah, you joined. So I'm just going to share this and then I'm going to just pull a card just to see as a mini message from this beautiful, I just love this deck so much. The energy is just amazing. So I'm just going to bring this up and just share a message. And so I'm doing a full free live stream ceremony tomorrow night for our total solar eclipse new moon. So we're in dark moon right now, right? So be mindful, like if there is stuff coming up, let's turn this down. It's very like, we're in the shedding phase. We're releasing so much, you know, like there's a lot coming up. There's a lot of like big shifts. There's a lot of realizations. There's a lot of like, oh my gosh, like, and I want to ask you guys, have things felt like they're in a standstill for you for the past maybe, what are we now, December, so about past month? Sorry, I've been talking to clients all day. And I just did a live stream in my private group as well. I was like, oh, I better like come and say hi to you guys. And I'm on this like, oh my gosh, I'm having like deja vu right now. I'm on my liver flush as well tonight. So yeah, I can feel that already starting there. So I'm just sharing this. But yeah, I'm wondering if you guys have felt like things have been at a standstill about the past, past month, right? But the past 2 weeks especially, it's like, oh my gosh, is this going to happen yet? Come on, like, you know, and then it's like, but I feel like everything is about to go woof, like, you know, kind of after the eclipse tomorrow night, to be honest. I know probably people would say different to that. They might say like from that December 21st portal, but I feel like it's very much like it's very soon. Yeah, it's about to shift. So just like just hold it, just hold it. It's coming, it's coming. All right, cool. That has been shared. So let me just bring this up as well. So I've just got the comments here. Yeah, okay, cool. You guys been feeling it. Is this on silent? Yes. All right. So, okay. So Nat says, it's the feeling of something really big and exciting. It's going to happen, but at the same time, you're feeling so sad and alone. Yeah, there's definitely the differentiation. Like there's the both at the moment, right? That's what I shared on my story yesterday when I put the beautiful card on. Like I've been feeling like on Friday, I was like hit with depression. And I'm like, man, I haven't been depressed for ages, right? And I knew it was just like, and it was interesting because there were several clients feeling the same. And I was just like, oh yeah, it's definitely in there. It's not just me. And like really just feeling like and then I put it on my story and I was like, but hang on a sec. I'm actually like in this state of like deep peace and really grateful for things, like so many things to be grateful for. So much good things is going on. But my emotions, like, it's like this, like, depression or all this stuff, like, and like, I've just been riding the waves, right? So, yeah, and so emotional, yes, lots of tears, lots of breakdowns, like, again, we're not only just in dark moon right now, right? And it would have really hit, like, that kind of Thursday, Friday, like, we enter that 3-day portal that I always talk about, right? And so, you know, not only are we in the new moon window, the dark moon, new moon window, we're also in the middle of an eclipse season, right? So we have the total solar eclipse tomorrow night, which I'm doing a full free live ceremony right here on my page. Well, you guys see the post, it's just under, just scroll down my page, you'll see it. I'll post it again on there tomorrow as well. But this is like a really pivotal energy right now. And like so many people seem like it's really focused on like December 21st and what's happening. And it's like, well, hang on a sec, we've got these energies right now too, right? So it's really looking at, and it's solstice as well, right? It's definitely solstice as well. Okay, so very high anxiety and anger for no apparent reason. Yeah, that's really like, it's coming in waves, right? No sleep, high levels of anxiety. Okay, cool. So this is like, it is so important right now, guys, okay? And no sleep too. So it's really important to make sure you do your checklist, okay? Like, you know, what are you eating, right? So anxiety and stuff is like, what are you eating? And especially no sleep, like what did you eat just before you went to bed? Like how long did you eat just before you went to sleep? What are you doing before you go to sleep? You know, like are you running around, or are you know, watching a device, or are you watching a screen? Like, you know, make sure there's that wind down time, like really treat it as sacred, right? It's a really sacred, like, you know, calming place, like really clear your energy, make sure you're, you know, doing all those things before you go to bed, right? So I'm curious if you do that. And then the other question I want to ask you guys who are feeling that anxiety and the no sleep and everything like that, like how much are you exercising, right? Like what sort of exercise are you doing? How much are you exercising? Because right now there's all this like high frequency energy already starting to come into the planet, and it's really being felt. And if you are not in your body, you will have issues with sleeping, with anxiety, because all this like high frequency energy is like pushing in through the planet and pushing in through our aura and through our body, right? And if you are not moving your body, if you're not taking care of your energy, if you're not eating right, if you're not looking after yourself, right? Extra looking after yourself right now, that high energy frequency would just be like burning through you basically, right? So burning through your energy, like, and really like it can't embody in your body, yeah? So, you know, doing like yoga is really, really powerful, right? Because it's integrating all the systems together, yeah? So exercise with what is right for you. So yoga, like I wouldn't be like going and running cardio with your heart rate being high, right? But yoga, meditating, right? You guys should be meditating to really receive that high frequency energy, getting out getting outside with nature and really connecting with the earth to really receive those energies, right? They're coming from the sun, the great central sun, they're coming from the earth, and they are coming from the high frequency, the galactic portal, right? So we're really coming through these pieces right now. And when we're in this place of like, you know, not taking that time and like we will be flawed from it, we have to remember that this is like it's like a big washover. Like if you imagine like a waterfall, right? A waterfall's washing over you. If that, you know, like that waterfall is washing over you, it's going to cleanse away shit, right? So when you're not able to sleep, it's also looking at where's your mind at when you're not able to sleep? Like what is out of alignment, right? When we can't sleep, there's usually tears underneath there. Yeah, there's usually tears underneath, deep grief from a relationship breakup that you haven't dealt with. Like anxiety is too much energy in the heart. And when you have a big cry, you'll be able to sleep. Like it's just like a child, right? They're like full of feelings, tantruming around, like, you know, and if they're not supported in those tears, they won't sleep either, or they'll be fine during the day and then they're up all night, like, because they're full of feelings, right? It's the same with us. So really just looking at, you know, like what's going on, you know, like in your emotions, in your heart, because this high frequency energy is a frequency upgrade for our heart, for our whole system. And if there's all these like old lower vibration emotions in there, then that energy can't be in there. So it's like it's trying to get in there, but we're like, we don't want to feel this, you know, and we're like all of that, right? So okay, all right, so I'm just checking these comments here. Okay, yeah, so very high anxiety and anger for no apparent reason. So I just shared on that live stream in the Trust and Intuition group to Richard about the anger and stuff. So again, like all our emotions can teach us something, right? And it's really important. Like, so anger is like teaching you, like, where are your boundaries at? Where are your, you know, what values are being crossed at the moment? You know, like if you really value something and you're not meeting that need, well, you're going to feel angry because you're like everything else is taking up your time or that sort of thing, right? So looking at anger and the emotions, like, you know, asking them, what are they teaching you, as well as really allowing the waves to come out. The other thing, and I shared this with a client the other day, the other thing to really look at through this portal of time right now is, I did say it to them. I was like, so, you know, like what's been coming up for me is like when I originally left my daughter's father. And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense because it was exactly this time 10 years ago, right? And so like the middle of November to now is like just been like a what is it, like a revisit of all of those emotions. I was like, wow, like this is good to be clearing this out, right? And someone had actually said, oh, I don't know, some astrological thing is that we are clearing out from 10 years ago. Now, the thing I always say to people as well, and especially with my clients, is like, okay, what's going on right now, right? So whatever your issues going on right now, look at what happened this time last year. Yeah, around this time last year. Look at what happened around this time 2 years ago or 3 years ago, or literally like scan back and go back through your life or the past few years, especially, or the 10 years, and like just see, right? Because on a timeline scale that we are on, every time we come back around to this, you know, particular time of year, and it could be any time of year over your entire life, right? Like just, you know, say for this year, right? And you went through a really hard patch in May, for example. If you look back over your life, what happened in May, most, like, you know, where is it? Like your intuition will tell you and show you, a memory come back or something will happen, right? And so you'll be able to like scan through and you'll be like, oh, that happened then. And so it's like those, you know, sometimes when we go through a big change, so there's a change in relationship or we move or something goes on, right? Death in the family. Sometimes in that moment, all we can do is just try and get through what we're going through. Like we're just coping with the issue at hand because, oh my God, someone just passed away or this happened, a breakup or something, right? And so when we're like, you know, we're just dealing with it, we're trying to like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And then we kind of get back on with life eventually. And then the same time next year rolls around and we're wondering why we're feeling depressed or all these emotions or what's happening. And then if we just have this check-in, right? It's just something to also check off the list, right? When we're looking at anxiety and sleep and all that stuff, it's like, these are the things we want to check out, you know, what's going on, yeah? So, you know, you might not have dealt with the emotions. Like I know for me 10 years ago, like, you know, of course I might have dealt with them little pieces over the, you know, time over the years, but for some reason it's really strong in my awareness, right? You know, all the buried emotions and everything, because at the time I had to pack up the entire house without him knowing, leaving a DV situation and, you know, get up the coast and then go through the, like, and then he was like taking me to court to make me like, I didn't have time to process the emotion. I just had time to like, how the fuck do I get through this? Like, do you know what I mean? And so those get stored in our body. Yeah. So when stuff is going on for you, take a check-in, like just have a scan, like your intuition, you immediately know. Like every time I ask that person, they're like, oh, that's right, this was happening, right? We know straight away. And then we know what we're dealing with to clear out rather than just like, oh, I'm so emotional and all this stuff's going on, I don't know, right? So it helps us to give a kind of like a guidepost of, you know, where we're going with things. All right. Okay. We'll go for a walk. Yeah, your son has special needs. Yes. And non-stop on every levels. Yeah. Watercolor painting, really awesome for special needs kids, for anyone actually, by the way, because watercolor gets our emotions out. So if you can't cry, just paint instead. Learn the Ho'oponopono today. Yeah, awesome. So beautiful. So Lee says, I hurt my back last week right at my sacrum base. Lots of past stuff coming up to be seen and cleared, ending the 10-year cycles. Yeah. Sacral base stuff have been really big the past months too, by the way. It's interesting because I've been working with a lot on that as well. So that's really interesting. I hope that you're okay. So Lee says, biggest breakup for me 10 years ago, not knowing who I am. Totally feeling the same right now. Yeah, so these are the memories and the emotions coming out. So you can do like a journal purge, like you can write up the top of the paper with the intention to clear and release. And you just write down all, like whatever is in your head about that. Like, oh my God, I was so hurt. Oh my God, I was so alone. Oh my God, like, how did I even do that? Like, like, oh my God, like you can see I'm tapping into mine as I'm thinking about it, right? It's like, it's all sitting there. Yeah. And so when we can take the time to write with the intention to clear and purge, like we can write so much, just get it out of your system. You can safely burn that, throw it away. But before you do that, what's really awesome is to write for every sentence that you've written down, get another piece of paper and write down the opposite of all those. So like right now, I choose to believe that I'm really supported. I've created a life that I do have lots of support around me. So you're like not just being stuck in all that there stuff. You're really like looking at where you are today and really how far you've come. But it's important to get that purge stuff out. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So important. Yes. Music is such a healer. So good. All right. So Lisa says, I even snap at my 2 best friends, my little dogs, and went woo. Really, what was that? Yeah. So it just sounds like you've got a lot of buried emotions in there as well, Lisa. So like some watching a sad movie on purpose, ones that make you cry, or even just writing letters, like writing just with what I shared there, writing stuff down that you feel, the things that we wish we had a counselor for, the things that we wish someone would listen to us for. Sometimes I write, and this is going to sound crazy, I can't believe I'm telling you guys this. Sometimes I write, I've got a specific journal that I'm like, go into when I feel like I don't have anyone to listen to me, I don't have anyone to talk to about any of this stuff, and I go in there and I'm like, I just need to get this out because I've got nobody to listen to, and I know you're here for me, and I just like, write. And I'm like, oh, that feels like, it instantly feels better. Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to read, I was going to read 1 card, but 2 have come out, for just as a collective. Yeah. Just as a kind of overlying message, simply because I freaking love this deck so much. The energy of it, I can't get enough of it at the moment. Saw it in the shop and just walked straight in. I was just like, right, got it. Didn't even look at it. So this one is there. So Anapausis, I think it says. Don't know how to pronounce these ones. And this one, the Sacred Scar, right on the heart. I actually pulled this for a client yesterday too. So this one here, because this is a new deck, you're going to have to bear with me. I'm going to read from the book. Well, see what jumps out at me. And make sure you guys are here tomorrow, just over 24 hours from now. So it's at 8 p.m. Brisbane time, Australian Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, be doing a total solar eclipse ceremony. The last one that I did, the new moon total solar eclipse, was in June June, beginning of this year. I think it was June, middle of this year, I mean. It was really, it was super powerful, super deep and super powerful. I think it is actually. So soon, and I know I keep saying these things, there's a lot coming soon over the next week. I mean, after this week, it will be the removal from the dark mother grid. That's actually what channeled through on last solstice moon, right? Like back in June, the removal from the dark mother grid, that's what came through. So I'm really curious what's going to come through tomorrow, because yeah, they're powerful. So make sure you're here. I'm being guided to hold this one for free right here live on my page. So make sure you're here. Make sure you're prepared for ceremony too, by the way, actually, because it's ceremony, it's deep, or it can be, and it is a ceremony. So, prepare accordingly. You can set up your own crystals and candles in your own sacred space. You can simply get comfortable and listen in on a couch or a bed or anything like that. But just really just know that we're going into a ceremony. It's not just a normal live stream, okay? So, because I forget that because you guys aren't in the ceremony space. So yeah, lots and lots of body stuff coming out. Yeah, there's lots of body, physical stuff coming out. And why is that happening? Because this high light frequency coming into the planet is, our body is you know, adjusting to it, yeah? And it's like, so anything that is not in that high vibration is being shifted out of our body. So that's why when we think about it, right? So all the physical ailments are stored emotions in the body, right? So backache, blah, 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 is like Lee was sharing, you know, the sacral base stuff hurt her back, but it's like the 10-year breakup, like, you know, from the really bad breakup 10 years ago that was like stored in there basically, right? The back support, like what's happening, my life's just being snapped away from me, like, you know, it's all snapped straight in there. So when we you know, can really you know, like look at all these body issues as just stored emotions, or if you're just snapping out of nowhere and you don't usually do that, it's looking at what is the stored emotions going on that has been suppressed. Because right now, layer upon layer upon layer upon layer is really coming out. So take time to really allow yourself to support yourself in this, because coming up, and I'm releasing something as well, the animal shaman, and this is activating your animal shaman self, because this is like where we can really embody that high frequency energy that is coming through between Christmas and New Year. So everyone's talking about the 21st. Yes, that's when the planets first start aligning. Yeah, by the 25th is when we'll really start being able to feel it. Yeah, so the animal shaman activation actually helps you to activate that within your body rather than it just flooring us, or everyone's going, what's happening? Right? Yeah. California time. So if you just look on my page, it's all there. Let's see if I can just bring it up. I'll just find it now and read it out too. All right. Yeah, lots of things, like anything that you're intuitively receiving to support yourself. So important that you listen to that. So it's 8 p.m. Brisbane, Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's 10 a.m. London GMT time. It's 2 a.m. Los Angeles PST time. It's 5 a.m. New York EST time. So, but the replay will be there as well, okay? All right, so interesting, this card, after all we just shared, so beautiful, right? Do not give up, but allow your heart to disengage from your struggles. How interesting. So much I could say about this already. I'm going to read it first. So, don't give up, but allow your heart to disengage from your struggles. Give yourself much needed rest. You are in a phase of recovery. If you have been off your path, you are going to come back strong. Did you hear that, guys? So everyone's like, I'm being stuck. Me included. I felt like that, but I've not been in a recalibration. Okay, let me finish this. All right. You will regain your spark of passion, inspiration, and devotion. A certain order of events needs to take place for your soul path to come to fruition. Commit yourself to your sacred journey, trusting that the right thing will happen at the right time. How beautiful are these cards, right? Day 23 of your juice fast. Yes, detox is real. Oh yeah, baby. No wonder it's all shifting out. It's so good. So good. All right, so it's so interesting, okay? So this here, you're going to come back strong. So with anything that you've been feeling stuck on like that, like I've been conscious that I've been going through a massive recalibration right now in so many areas of my life. Like it's like I've just, you know, and I was really angry at it. You know, I posted the other week, I'm like, woke up so angry because like, I'm like, I need to get like more blogs and live streams out and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, keep reminding myself, I'm like, it's okay, you're going through this recalibration, it's okay to stop and recalibrate and then come back stronger. Like how much confirmation is that, right? And the first thing I said on this live stream, I'm like, have you guys been feeling stuck? Because very soon, you know, and I felt like in myself, I'm like, oh yeah, middle of December. Oh yeah, well, that's the 14th tomorrow. Right. The 14th tomorrow, the 15th the next day, because I knew by the middle of December it'd be go time again, which again is like straight after the eclipse tomorrow night, right? Or tomorrow. So right on point as always. Okay, I'm gonna just read this bit. It's jumping out at me. So this oracle recognizes that there is something that you have been working hard to bring into being. You'll find, with a little more trust in your spiritual connection, you'll find the way easier and more joyful. You don't need to push yourself so hard. Spirit can sustain you through your devotion and commitment so that every effort you make is more than matched by the inflow of spiritual grace. So it says here, this is a really important piece, guys. It says here, don't allow your mind or the deranged ways of this world to create weariness or yet another drama. Take rest in the spiritual light of love, rest from fear, rest from anxiety, rest from needing to do work, rest from needing to work it all out right now. Even on your most confusing or most productive days, you can find renewal in spirit. It's always available to you, even right now. So, I'm going to show you, I did one of my support calls in the Trust Intuition group that I did. Literally, it should be just here somewhere. Not going to be able to find it now. I cleaned my office for the first time in weeks. That was the other thing that was making me angry. It was so dirty. Okay, not dirty, just like creative mess everywhere because I've been transcending creation the past like 6 weeks. So this here, we're talking, oh my gosh, it's back to front, sorry. We're talking and it's like all this busyness. Oh my gosh, the screen's back to front to me. So this channel here, right, is like, we were talking about how it's like very busy energy and a lot of like competitive sort of energy feeling as well going on, right? And we're talking about it in my Trust Intuition support call group. And it's like, so this is confirming this, right? Take a rest from, oh my goodness, nearly lost the page. Take a rest in the spiritual light of love. Rest from fear, rest from anxiety, rest from needing to work it all out right now, right? So that channel, that tunnel, that 2 lines on the page with the dots in it represents the busyness of the energy. Yeah? The busyness of the energy. And so when you're feeling anxiety, can't sleep, etc., like make sure your phone is off, make sure Wi-Fi is off. Ask yourself, when did I get outside in nature? How much water have I had? How much have I, drunk? What is out of alignment in my life that I'm not paying attention to, right? Simply, this is like the busyness of society and the busyness and, energy of like, all the 5G drama. And by the way, guys, I'm sorry, I just need to voice this. I'm like, whilst everyone's like freaking out about 5G and how bad 5G is, I'm like, man, they got 6G in the works and we're all like complaining about 5G. I'm like, you either upgrade and shift or you get left behind. And this is what all this light frequency energy coming in is telling us to upgrade. Like these are the upgrades. These are the DNA shifts. These are the shifts away from sickness and into health, like this is what all this light frequency is. So when you are feeling overwhelmed, anxious, confused, like I'm not good enough, I'm alone, whatever it is, unplug from the busyness, close it off, turn off your phone, have some nature time, stop, don't try and work it out right now. Remember that's what it said? It said literally, take a rest from anxiety, rest from needing to work it all out right now, because in another day or two it'll pass. And I feel like these waves are almost being turned up and turned up and turned up. So it's almost like, oh my God, what's happening? And then we're like, oh, sweet. And then it's like, oh my God, what's happening? Oh, okay, sweet. It's kind of the energy of it, right? And it's like this pulsating like thing here. And that's why I always say to you guys, like, learn to ride the waves. Like I teach this in Trust Intuition. I teach this in module 1. Learn to ride the waves, because this is like the energy frequency coming in, right? Okay, so yeah, unplug from the busyness, yeah? Make sure you're taking care of yourself, and it's so important because this, how I've been saying for months, I'm like, this energy is only going to increase. The feeling of the intensity is only going to increase, and I feel like next year is going to be very similar. So the one that was stuck behind it is the sacred scar. The sacred scar. So number 11, like I said, bear with me. It's a new deck and I love it, but I'm learning it fast because I love it and I'm using it lots. All right. So this one, the sacred scar. Your inner and outer scars are marks of your soul's courage. They are signs of strength and survival, of your willingness to be alive. The sacred scar speaks of that which once caused pain, being transformed through spiritual initiation, leading you from woundedness to wisdom. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You can trust your healing process and in the hidden higher purpose behind things happening as they do. You are strong and you shall flourish on all levels. Right now, we are in a birthing portal, yeah? We are in a birthing portal right now, and it's so important for you to just allow yourself to know that we're all in this together. We're all feeling it. It's gonna probably intensify. If you're feeling stuck, things are gonna move forward again after the eclipse tomorrow night. We're in the dark moon portal right now. And this is again what I teach in Trust Intuition. I'm like, follow the moon cycles, track your menstrual cycles. If you're not bleeding anymore, track your emotional cycles because they're still connected in with the moon, with what's going on, with the energy frequencies that are going on the planet. Be mindful of what's going on around you, inside, outside. Check those timelines, what was going on, all the self-care stuff. How much have I eaten? What have I eaten? How much water have I drunk? What's happening? Like, and if you have been really busy, or if you have had days of no sleep, like, be extra gentle on yourself. Like, you're like, what's happening? It's like, yeah, you've just had no sleep for 3 days. Like, stop trying to figure it out. Get in here and feel. And that's going to bring you back to equilibrium and allow the brain waves to calm down again. Because crying releases the stress hormone cortisol from your tears. Cortisol is a stress hormone that releases in our body that's like, makes us like this. And then we can't sleep, can't do anything, right? Trust, exactly. All right. So this oracle, this is what jumps out at me. The oracle of the sacred scar lets you know that your greatest struggles are the pathway to your potential. You are not being punished. Those circumstances have not been imposed upon you by Spirit, but Spirit will work with you to free you of negativities and bring you into the light, stimulating the sacred alchemic wisdom within your heart that knows how to distill goodness, grace, and healing from even the most terrible experiences, right? We are heading into a lot of joy. We are heading into a lot of light. But if you are not feeling that, it is because something is clearing out of you to allow yourself to have the light in your body. Because in yourself, if that light isn't in, like if you're full of emotions or full of trauma, that's going to be filling up your body, and the light is like pushing it out. So it's coming up and out. So know that happiness is also a choice. It is a choice to be grateful for what's in front of you. And it is a choice to just allow that anger to take over your day. Now, again, it's not about slapping a positive emotion over the negative, but when you are grieving and crying, when you are upset, when you are angry, the question to be asking yourself, what is the unmet need underneath this? What did I need at the time of all that shit going on that I didn't get? Maybe it was support, maybe it was love, maybe it was understanding, right? So grieving, crying, anger, all the releasing is so important when it hits you, right? And if you're not sleeping and stuff, I'd be watching a sad movie to like make those tears come out, right? It doesn't matter if you're crying about the movie, the tears coming out is gonna start to shift everything else, yeah? When you are asking for what is that unmet need within me, that's making me feel this way, that made me feel that way, right? When you're asking that question, that enables you to kind of pull yourself out of it, right? It's not like in that moment, but you at least know what the gift is of that situation rather than just being in this big pile of emotions, right? So, and you might not do that in the moment, but the next day or something, you might be like, well, what was that? And you might be like reflecting on it and you'll be like, well, what was that I needed at the time that I didn't get? Like, what was it that I needed? Like, most people don't know their needs. They don't know their values. And it's probably one of the biggest issues in all relationships and communication issues and all sorts of things, is unmet needs at the core. When something is going on and there's a big situation, ask yourself and ask the person, what is it that you need? What is it that I need? Yeah? That's the message. Finding out what's going on underneath. Releasing all the emotions, but asking, what is the unmet need in this situation? Yeah? So the bottom card of the deck, I feel called to read it because when I pulled this brand new deck that I bought, and I was like pulling cards, I kept pulling the same one. I was shuffling and the same one, and it was this one. And look, it's the bottom card of the deck. Lazia of Pavrasi? No, I don't know how to pronounce these. Name pronunciation and remembering names is not my strong point, but let me decipher the energy for you. Oh, I get straight A's for that. All right, let's have a look here. See, this was the message for me, but this is the thing, and it comes back to that original card. Take a rest from trying to figure it all out right now. Yeah. So this one here, this beautiful card here, is there is a gentler way to proceed and obtain the same or even greater effect, with greater effect. Tame the wild and frenzied workings of the mind by grounding yourself with beauty, pleasure, and grace. Violence and its negative effects shall be overcome and healed through feminine gentleness and inner spiritual strength. This oracle is a sign of great future happiness. Perfect, hey? And that's why when we can have these, you know, like these signs, these messages, just knowing that, you know, like you have to remember, guys, when you're feeling upset, angry, there is nothing wrong with you, right? So when you're happy, you're like, oh, why am I so happy? There's something wrong with me because I'm so happy. Like, we don't do that. We don't. So when we're angry or upset or anything, don't beat yourself up for that either. But know when you are in those sorts of emotions, you have to remind yourself, I'm shifting something out here that has been stagnant for so long. And, you know, whatever the situation was going on, again, like search for the needs, search for the unmet needs, right? Because they could be patterns playing out in your current day life, right? So unsupported, alone. So I was like, okay, cool. Where did this begin? What's the core of it, right? There is great future happiness in the works. And I do feel that leading into next year, you know, like as you guys were already feeling, there's like great joy and peace, but also this sadness or depression or whatever. Like there's both there, right? And it's kind of like I feel you know how I was saying for a while, the bandwidth is like extending, like, you know, the light and the dark, like it's like everyone's like, the light's increasing. I'm like, yeah, so is the dark. And if we look at the lockdowns this year and whatever, right? And it's kind of like, you know, when we feel like it's extended, like it's expanded on both bandwidths, but now it's like, it's coming to a peak, and then I feel like it's going to kind of like taper out. So then I feel like that's the energy in December, you know, on that 21st, but the 25th to the 1st of January especially, it's going to be like a integrating of like, so the bandwidth is like here, and we're like, oh, we're happy, but we're like depressed, but we're like feeling good, but we're like, okay, there's weird stuff going on here. And it's like, it's about to feel like through the eclipse, and then it's going to be like this, like integrating. So be an integrating, it's be very interesting energy. But as it said, like be grounded, you know, surround yourself in beautiful things, tell yourself beautiful things, listen to beautiful music, do your hair, do your makeup, feel beautiful inside. What do you need to do that? A lot of people miss that aspect of it, right? When we, you know, feel pampered or loved up, like, you know, and you might be like, well, I don't, you know, loving relationship. It's like, so what are you doing about that? You know, like staying in that unloving relationship is not loving yourself, right? You're never going to feel loved until you take action in direction that's going to pull you in more love, right? First begins within inside of you. I know you guys know that. All right. Inner Circle is open, guys. Life Purpose Accelerator. This is where you work one-on-one with me over 12 months. And this will be the last time that you'll see it at this investment level. And if you've got any questions about it, please let me know. But we've got one-on-one support for 12 months, which means you can have me on your text message, or in WhatsApp text message and voice message anytime of day and night, every day if you choose. There's psychic readings in there. There's the intuitive healing calls. There's distance healings. There's life purpose activation codes. Plus, you get access to everything that I've ever created, everything that I will create over the next 12 months. And there's some big stuff coming up next year. I'm so excited about it. So you get access to everything. You get lifetime access to all of that, whatever I release in the next 12 months, and obviously the one-on-one support from me. So if you got questions, send me a message, or you can find the link that I'll pop in right now as well about that. This is like the highest level that you can work with me, and only one of the 2 options that you can work with me. So this is a 12-month beautiful energetic container. So if you really need that support, or you're ready to really accelerate your life purpose and clear out all those things that have been holding you back, and those buried emotions that you're like, I don't know what's going on. Like, that's where you have me on the text, like right there in that moment going, hey Hannah, what the fuck's happening here? Like, tell me, help me, right? So you've got me at your fingertips for 12 months, and you can imagine what we're going to shift out just in that space, let alone everything else that's in there, right? So links down on the page. I'll pin it to the top of the page. You can find it on my website as well, or send me a message. Remember, stay grounded, guys. I'll see you live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, or other times around the world. You can check on my page. It's there. I'll see you guys then. Mwah! Love you.